how would you describe your day thus far, given what has taken place over the last 14, 15 hours or so at this point?
I mean, it really has been. I probably said it last night. I mean, this is unlike any trade I have ever covered. The reaction to it is unlike any trade I have ever covered. The calls pinging my phone from front office executives, coaches, players with other teams. I don't know that I've ever seen a trade greeted with this much just outright shock. And, you know, a lot of people are still trying to process it. And it's still, I mean, we're now what? Happened at 11 something last night local time.
Yeah, we're about 14, 15 hours into this at this point.
Not enough. It hadn't been long enough for this to sink in. I mean, it is still staggering to try to put this together. And, you know, the Lakers tweeting out a picture earlier today of Luka in his Lakers 77 jersey. Like, it's just, I mean, you don't need my words. I think everybody feels it, and you know, this is a heartbroken city. I mean, you know, I've lived here nearly 30 years. You know, I don't remember a scene or a reaction like this. And there have been some whopper sporting transactions in this town, but I don't think anything quite like this.
Luka Doncic putting out a statement just moments ago via social media entitled "Dear Dallas," and I will read the full statement word for word coming from Luka Doncic. Quote, 7 years ago, I came here as a teenager to pursue my dream of playing basketball at the highest level. I thought I'd spent my career here, and I wanted so badly to bring you a championship. The love and support you all have given me is more than I could have ever dreamed of. For a young kid from Slovenia coming to the U.S. for the first time, you made North Texas feel like home, in good times and bad. From injuries to the NBA Finals, your support never changed. Thank you not only for sharing my joy in our best moments, but also for lifting me up when I needed it most. To all the organizations I've worked with throughout the Dallas community, thank you for letting me contribute to your important work and join you in bringing light to those who need it. As I start the next part of my basketball journey, I am leaving a city that will always feel like home away from home. Dallas is a special place, and Mavs fans are special fans. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Luka, 77. So deep, heartfelt words from a player who has changed the lives of so many people here, but his exploits on the floor in a Mavericks uniform will not soon be forgotten. Before I get your reaction, Bobby, to that, Mark, your reaction to that statement by Luka Doncic as he leaves Dallas and his message to fans.
I mean, some beautiful sentiments, beautifully read by you, by the way. And look what jumped off the page to me right away. You know, I pulled this quote out of the statement. I thought I'd spend my career here, and I wanted so badly to bring you a championship. I mean, can we, you know, I know that when this trade happened late on Saturday night, there was this, he must have asked for a trade, you know, and I immediately reported then that there was no trade request. He was absolutely blindsided by this. And, you know, have there been bumps and bruises and setbacks and sources of tension along the way? Yes. But I certainly never got the sense that he wanted to be anywhere but here. And I think with the words you just read, pretty much, you know, Luka isn't known for dunks, but I think he pretty much slammed that one home. And, you know, even today at the press conference in Cleveland, Nico Harrison was asked, were there any behind the scenes or back channel notions sent to the Mavericks, transmitted to the Mavericks, that there was any hesitation on Luka's part? You know, we all know we talked about it. We did it in our one-on-one with Luka on Media Day. We know in July, in early July, he would have been eligible for a 5-year, $346 million contract, the largest contract in NBA history. Nico Harrison was asked today, did he have any indications that Luka was not willing to sign that contract or hesitant to sign that contract? And Nico said he did not have any verbal communication to suggest that. So, I mean, this, again, the whole league, starting with number 77, was shocked by this. But it's also very clear it was Nico Harrison's call. He wanted Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is the only player that the Mavericks went after here. Nico said it as well at the press conference today. He did not speak to any other teams. I reported this morning that the first conversations between Nico Harrison and his Lakers counterpart, Rob Pelinka, were January 7th on the day of the game that the Lakers were here in town. They kept it quiet for almost a month. The conversations lasted almost a month, and they kept it quiet until they had a deal.
And then Mavs fans received the news in the worst way possible. So I say this to kind of put the picture in the frame, right? I worked for the team for almost 10 years before coming here to DLLS Sports. And my relationship with the franchise stretches way back beyond that. All right. I've been a Mavs super fan freak I'm 33. So for 33 years. One of my buddies that is also a lifelong Mavs fan was texting me earlier today, and he was like, dude, I don't know why this hurts so much. Like, he was just like, he's so there. We have people in the chat that, like, we have grown adults that are crying right now, Mark. And my buddy is the same thing. He was really going through it. And, you know, I told him, like, there are a lot of people that, you know, for whom Luka is their Dirk. You know, and I've always tried to be really, really mindful of that, especially when working for the team, because I got to see Dirk's entire career. There will never be another athlete that I'll look up to and admire the way that I did Dirk. But there are a whole lot of Mavs fans to whom Luka is that guy, you know, and there are a lot of Mavs fans like me and, you know, Mark, you've been around. You're not a Mavs fan, Mark, but you were here for Dirk's career. You're here for Luka's career. And there are a lot of us in the studio and a lot of us in the chat right now that we're lucky enough to get to watch both of those guys. And I think the thing that makes this hurt so much is that we got to see the most improbable sports story ever unfold. Dirk Nowitzki's career, 21 seasons with one team, 30,000 points, a championship, a dude that after his rookie season wasn't even sure that he was good enough to be an NBA player. But he stuck it out through thick and thin. There was a lot of bad during his time here that was beyond his control, and some of it was under his control. But he stuck through it and saw it to the end and gave us a championship before he finally retired. And then we see Luka say he wanted to spend his entire career here. And it's just like,
oh boy,
how lucky we felt to get to have Luka and Dirk play together. Dirk passing the torch to Luka. Another improbable, once-in-a-lifetime sports story gets to play out with no break in between, from one Hall of Famer to the next, from one improbable superstar to the next, from one guy that is as dedicated to the organization as we are to them to the next. And then just like that,
like a thief in the
at
night,
11:30 on a Saturday night,
my God,
the dude that wants to be here, the dude that wants to spend his career here, the dude that wants to be the next Dirk is shipped to the Lakers. And we're just kind of told to deal with it, man. It's so gross. It's just gross, Mark.
No, and look, you laid that out very well. And one of the most amazing elements of that, I mean, look, Dirk Nowitzki was drafted and he had such a tough start to his NBA career and ended up being an all-time great to spend a record 21 seasons with one team. And then in his last season, before you even have to contemplate what it would be like to walk into that arena and not have number 41 there, the Mavericks acquire someone who has the potential to be even better and who, for all the supposed flaws that Luka Doncic has is one of the 3 best players in the world on his worst day. And so, look, Nico Harrison and the Mavericks can rightly say, we questioned the Kyrie Irving trade, and that worked out famously. Some of us questioned the amount of draft capital that was surrendered at the deadline in the 2 trades last year for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. Were those players both worth a future first-round pick? There were people around the league who are questioning the Mavs, and on both of those trades, Nico Harrison and the Mavericks got the last laugh. But they've taken such a more dramatic step into the risk zone with this one. The way this trade has been framed and greeted by teams around the league, the utter shock that just continues to reverberate everywhere. Anthony Davis is going to have to deliver in just a massive, massive, massive way to help fans get past this. And I don't even know, like, if, you know, it's a lot to thrust upon him. I wonder if he realizes exactly what he's walking into. Anthony Davis waived his trade kicker to help facilitate this trade. That's how much he wants to be here. And yeah, 15 whatever hours into this, and we still can't believe it. And I mean, Luka Doncic was a generational talent. And man, I'm running out of things to say, guys.
We all silly like the mayor.